Do we have the link to the meeting notes prepared?
Yeah, I posted it already.
So for those of you who were here before the meditation started, I just would like everyone to know that the meeting I was in before this that got me angry with it had nothing to do with the Zeitgeist movement. It was a food co-op that I'm involved in. I have a couple things that I would like to talk about with everyone, but I have no need to go first if someone else wants to start, because there are no items on the agenda, so it's kind of free, open. Anyone who really wants to discuss something with everyone. I know, Link, you had something you wanted to share.
Yeah, I put that on the agenda, but did you want to do your thing first, or how should we go about it?
Okay, sure. I'll just go ahead and get it over with. So I have created the page of for project photos for the Commons. I'll just describe it quickly. The idea is that we need to make to improve the visibility of our goal in order to achieve it. So movements are effective when their goal is clear and known by everyone, and so we need to make it very clear to as many people as possible what our goal is. And so the idea is that we need a way to make that for us to be able to communicate that very very easily. And the idea is with a hand signal. So the sign language C is not something that is popular. Very, it's not much known for other uses. So the idea is to use the sign language C, which can be done. You'll see it on the webpage. How it can be done. It can be done with either hand, with all fingers, or only with the index and the thumb. And the idea is that the C is to represent the commons, and and our goal of making the commons grow and investing in the commons. So the commons is basically shared resources, right? So our goal as a movement is for the world to be a commons, right? To so that everyone has equal access to what we need, as if it were the ocean or the woods or something that everyone has access to. So then there's 4 different ways that people can participate in this project. And one is taking photos of ourselves doing the C and uploading them on social media with the hashtag Invest in the Commons. You can also send them photos to the email that's on the page to have them uploaded to the page. The other is to take photos of others doing the C and also upload them on social media with the hashtag Invest in the Commons. And so you tell friends, acquaintances, or strangers and ask them about the project and if they want to support it. And people are uploading photos of themselves all the time, so it's nothing strange. And the third way to participate is contact other groups of people, other movements, other collectives, to tell them about the project and see if they want to participate. That can either be done by speaking about it in a chat of theirs or on their page, or what can sometimes work better is to speak about it to a leader of that group and ask them if they can help promote it. And the fourth way to participate is to contact celebrities and see if they can upload a photo of themselves doing the C. And so that's basically it. I'm going to share the webpage, and so that's my call of action for this meeting, is to check the webpage out and consider participating in it and sharing the webpage to other people and telling them about the project. Any questions?
Cool.
Okay, so I'm going to share the link. Photos for the comments. And the other thing I wanted to ask is just wanted to ask anyone if they have any updates or difficulties in contacting a library to introduce them to the idea of lending out objects other than books. Okay, well, that's all I wanted to ask today. So I'm done. Thank you all for listening.
Thank you, Mark.
Ja, na gut. Then perhaps mention a few things of what happened over the weekend on Sunday. So the big thing that basically is to be shared as of from our behalf, from my behalf, is the the release and premiere of the Post Scarcity podcast. Some of you, Hoorah! Yeah, we're very. All right, Tom, it's time for you to chirp or whatever you're gonna do now.
Woo.
Yeah, all right, fucking enthusiastic.
I'm just joking.
Okay, so we're obviously very excited from the podcast, and that was a really fun little premiere that we did here on the server here on Sunday, which was basically premiering the first recording of the first episode, and letting people on the server give feedback and talk, and also have a chat with everyone and what the thoughts were. And I thought, I mean, of course, it was a quite successful first round and episode, and it was a lot of fun. And right now, just amongst life, basically, just getting down to chopping up and editing the episode a little bit and getting ready to format it for YouTube, Spotify, and iTunes and stuff. So, for those that were not around, for the listening to premiere of the episode, you're just gonna have to hang in there for hopefully just for the weekend, and then you'll all be able to listen to it how many times you all want to, or share it with other people on social media. And right now we're working out the second episode. So while we're also formatting the first episode, we'll be at some point soon working on the second, and it most assumably will be also be premiering it here on the Discord server. So if anyone wants to be around for that premiere, you can come and listen to that as well. Yeah, and so I mean, for a little bit of a, if anybody's not understanding like what I'm speaking about as far as a podcast, the Post Scarcity podcast is basically, for what it says, it is a podcast about post scarcity. So something I think anybody that's familiar with the Zeitgeist movement already understands. So basically, society that is not related on monetary or some kind of hierarchical concerns, so to say, as well as basically looking in for the best intents, basically the best intentions for all people considered, and not just for groups, while also having mindfulness over the natural environment and how we cultivate our civilizations and stuff, and making sure that there's enough to go around and that it can perpetually, sustainably stay that way. with doing the least damage to the planet as possible. So this is post scarcity. Some of you understand as RBE or resource based economy, but then there's post scarcity, which is a little bit better known by professors in mainstream. So there's the name of the podcast, and you can understand what we'll be speaking about. But also that it is not just merely a podcast just for our own entertainment or to just go around in a circle here on Discord or whatnot. It is also to be used to reach out to a lot of people, even celebrities or people that are not necessarily so interested in stuff that is spoken about in the zeitgeist movement, etc. So it's basically it's supposed to be very vernacular. That it's made for basically a wide audience, but still made to be informative and made to be a lot of fun and funny. So expect that in the future and in future episodes, and hope that you'd all be able to join for the next episode, as we'll be keeping on social media and here on this Discord server everyone up to date with what the future plans are for the podcast, which episode premieres here on the Discord server, or which ones are finished, edited. So yeah, be be sure to definitely tune in for the next time, because that was a lot of fun last time, I have to say.
Yeah, I'll be there.
Awesome.
Is there like a fixed schedule for them?
Well, we're releasing, at least we said, 2 times a month. So there's going to be another one coming out sometime this month for sure. If we're up for making a third one, a fourth one, or hell, maybe 7 or 10 of them, we'll just do it. But 2 of them are at the least. And right now I'm trying to yank the rest of the members of the podcast and get them to speak. What are we doing for the next episode? Because definitely we want to get it out as soon as possible.
Hmm.
I'd like to remind everyone that everyone is welcome to speak, and you can also raise your hand if you want to in the chat before you speak if you want to. Well, I'm really excited about it. I'm sorry I missed it. I'm also really excited about Alex's podcast that he's doing now, and there's really a lot of things going on. It's things are starting to be really looking good again in the movement.
Yeah.
Slowly and surely. Moikka, Marko.
Moikka.
Minä siitä kuuluu.
Hyvä, kiitos.
Terve.
Joo, heitä vaan.
Joo.
Sorry, Finnish just took over the international chat.
Yeah.
Joo.
Yeah, I just
So,
came home and noticed there was a lot of people here.
Yeah. So it was actually, we had over 22 people that joined on the podcast premiere on Sunday, which was quite nice. Quite a lot of people got back to it over social media. A little bit of a screw up happened with the invitation link, but I mean, we still wound up getting almost, more than we even have right now. So it's been nice seeing a lot of people jumping on the server and stuff. So it's been very welcoming.
Nice.
Yeah.
A future episode of the
I'll just
podcast.
remind everyone that one of the very good things that everyone can do to help the movement grow and to stay in touch is to write down, to come to these meetings. They're every 2 weeks. It's the second Wednesday of the month at 21 UTC and the last Saturday at 9 UTC. And I'd just like to remind everyone that it's really nice to end with a document that lists all the things that we've been doing. So I'd like to invite you all again to, if you haven't opened the minutes of the meeting, please do, and just try to write down like a sentence of how you've spread the word or how you've shared content that spreads a train of thought. There are a lot of people that are more and more creating content like this that are not officially part of the movement, but sharing their content also counts. Or just telling people about the movement. It seems like very little, and we often forget to mention that we've done those things, but it actually is. It's the base of the movement, and it's good to see that everyone doing that type of stuff. Like, oh, I mentioned it to a friend, or I reminded. I shared a video to Daniel of Daniel Schmachtenberger to colleagues at work or something like that. Like, just simple stuff like that is really important, and it's good to hear that people are doing that.
Yeah.
You can't type at the same time as somebody else. We have to wait till someone else finishes.
No, you can type at the same time.
Okay.
So I also created a TZM Hispanic community page this week with Colin, and I'll share it in case any of you know of Hispanic Hispanics. It's very simple still, but it's enough. It's like a landing page. It's enough to get people to connect with the community and to get started with some content. So another thing that these meetings are for is to help each other out. So even those of you who don't usually come to assemblies, feel free to ask the rest of us for help with one of your initiatives. If it's something very simple that doesn't take much time, that's better because then it's easier to get everyone to do it. But if you have a project and you want people to join, that's like looking for help, and that's also welcome. And what we do is that after we collect these calls for help and calls to action in the assembly minutes, and then we write like a call to action afterwards, and we post it so everyone gets it. There's something that I would like to that I want to talk about, which is where should we basically having a list of projects. I think that we agreed that the idea was to have it in the community page. So, but I feel like some of the projects that are active are not there. Yes.
it's because the community pages have a little bit of a delay of updating, because the whole page is supposed to get a rehaul, a complete overdo, and also accessibility. So basically, some of the scripting was also supposed to be functioning with a certain document connected here to the Discord server that people can edit, that will show up on the website or on the community pages. But again, just there's been a lot going on right now, and just a lot of updates with lots of different things going on in the movement right now. It's taken a little bit of a a little bit more time before it's actually released. But hopefully sometime this month we'll get around to fixing it, so all that stuff will be displayed. New projects and a new map overshowing the movement, etc. It just needs a little bit of work and some overlooking test shooting, but it's getting done.
Okay, that's great news. Do you think I should create a pad so that we can list active projects until that is prepared, or is that going to happen so soon that we don't need to bother creating a pad now?
Well, you could create a pad, because I'm also thinking that the pad is going to be one of the things that will be used to list the projects, because we're going to have a format where a scripting that the pad, whatever like information is on there, will eventually go onto the website, making it more interactive for people that are registered to the cloud and to the pad and Discord, and maybe even other stuff in the forum or other stuff at some point. We'll see.
Okay, so it should be a Nextcloud pad, correct?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll put that in the to-do list of these notes, so I will remember to do that after the meeting, at least. So that's another thing that we do. Just reminding people how we hold these assemblies is that in the meeting notes we write down. There's a section where we write down our tasks, and we write our name and the task, so we can remember that we were supposed to do that, and things like that. The other thing I wanted I'd like to know your opinion about is the forum, because I know Case is how you pronounce his name, I think.
Yeah.
Or Case. Case. He's not sure about whether he wants to keep the forum going. How likely do we think that? Do we think that's a possibility of him not continuing that?
Well, Tom and I and some others have spoken about this situation, literally this case, that the forum may disappear really soon, because, you know, Case is getting married, he's doing other stuff in his life right now, and the thing is that the forum is not really that needed. There's no really huge demand for it, except for maybe a few people that are very into forums, and maybe some people that could actually use it for some kind of like project managing. The problem is that all fractions at Case wanted to use it intentionally to bring the whole movement together and get everybody using it for all these different things. But the thing is, of what TZM is involved in, everybody's using their own tools, their own things, their own little systems for doing whatever. And I guess maybe that was a little bit disappointing to him, that this is how it is, and he just also doesn't know the orientation or the time of what's what is perhaps required to do some stuff in TZM right now. So we may lose the forum, and that's another reason why I've been a little bit hesitant to get so involved in it. If that happens, then I don't know what we would do afterwards, if we would make a new forum, or if we'll just take the one that he has or whatever. And that's just a forum's a lot of, you know, just as much as this Discord server. I'm just gonna say it in plain easy language. A forum is a lot of fucking work, and you need to have time for it, for any of internet platform. And Case is not gonna have time for this stuff anymore, as he's gotta do his own important stuff in life. So yeah, that's my answer.
Okay, do you think we should consider using the Reddit forum for projects? Because I do think that we need we need a place where we can work on our projects, and generally it's agreed that the Discord server is not appropriate for that because it creates too many channels. So do you think Reddit would be a good option, or should we just improvise some other? Each project can have its own tool, and people that sign up to that project can use that tool.
What? Go ahead, Tom.
Well, I was just going to say, I don't know that Reddit would be a good platform for project management, because things do eventually get buried. And again, Reddit uses an algorithm, so things can get lost. I think that there's definitely value in a forum, but I think, as Cliff addressed, it's the difficulty is maintaining a forum and having the manpower for it. I think that if Kays doesn't have the time for it, then perhaps we can look into options as far as it being like handed over to somebody else to manage. But again, we need to try and find someone or a group of people who would be willing to spend the time that is required to manage that platform.
Yeah, and
Go ahead, Vincenzo. Yeah.
oh,
Hey everyone,
go ahead.
thanks. So I've been to a few of these meetings before, and I'm actually working on a project which is a directory system for social impact groups. And one of the things that we've been working on is basically a event and project directory that works within and across groups. So, for example, groups like Game B or Post-Capitalist Institute, Open Global Mind, different groups that have project directories. You could basically have like your group with projects that are private to that group. Or if you make projects public, you can kind of share them publicly with anyone. Or if you make them restricted, you could basically share projects with like 3 or 4 different groups. But yeah, if that's something that would be interesting, I'd love to maybe just screen share and show you guys for a minute or two what I've been working on in terms of project directories.
I say go for
Sounds
it.
awesome.
Yeah, go for it.
Cool. So let's see. Let me know if you guys see my screen. So this is basically the global project list. So you can change the view. So you can like basically see all the projects on a map. If you click on any project, it'll basically do a little pop-up where you can favorite the project. You can view that project page.
Really cool.
You can.
I don't see it. Am I doing something wrong?
Yeah,
Or we have to turn on video, right?
You have to click on
And watch
his name
stream.
and then click watch live stream.
Okay. Oh, okay.
Cool. So yeah, then there's also like a card view, which is pretty basic, has a bunch of different projects.
That's good.
Right now it has a title, description, and then the different tags for each project. And basically what we've been really working on is creating a schema for this database that works across communities. So it's able to take in like multiple project databases and then still be able to filter them. So you can filter by the project type, like, is it a makerspace? Is it a ecosystem? Is it a workshop class? You can filter by the locations. So is it global? Is it in a specific area or country? You can filter by like certain communities, like peer-to-peer, systems innovators, or even like, is the project open to federating or nonprofit, open source? So really trying to basically connect people with projects based off of their values and based off of the like types of things that they're able to also take as compensation. So I have like Skillshare, timeshare, volunteer, future opportunities. These are some ways to filter projects, or by skills those projects need. And then each project gets an automatically generated project page. So if you click on the project, you'll basically see a directory listing of like what help that project needs, the different categories, details, project members, related projects. And then within a group, you have basically like a filtered version of this directory. So like if I go to explore groups. And then, for example, I go into Open Global Mind. And then you go to the project directory. You'll see all the projects that have been tagged with that group. So if Zeitgeist Movement made a group, then there can be all the groups already on the platform. If they know about the Zeitgeist Movement, they could kind of add it, and it'll show up in this directory. And then anyone else can add a project here, and it would show up. And you're able to basically add privacy permissions for each project as well.
Pretty cool. Good work.
Yeah.
Man, that is seriously slick. One question I've got is each project group's discussion area. Is there any kind of, I mean, that's the difficulty, isn't it? You know, you've got your forum, it's hard to maintain, it's hard to manage. If you put that discussion into Discord, we've got the same problem. If you put that into discussion into Reddit, you've got the same problem. Is there a discussion area in that platform you've got there?
No, there's no discussion. Basically, it's a directory system, but it's what we're trying to do is solve the problem of information overload and not knowing where to find information when you need it. And we have a Discord integration. So we have a few different types of like Discord bots. So for example, you can put a bot inside of any of the channels. Like if you have like a projects channel or a resources channel, you could put the bot in there, and then if somebody posts a URL in that channel, it'll automatically catalog it for you. And so you get like an automatically generated library of all the stuff that's posted into the kind of stream of Discord that gets buried and lost. And then when you want to go find it, you know, it'll be there.
So this isn't actually a tool that's designed for managing projects, but just as a database so that people can find projects.
Exactly. Yeah. The directory system, it spans different types of things that a group would care about. So we also have like an events calendar for groups. And then the thing that I've been working on this week is basically like an opportunity board. And so that is also like across groups. So let's see if I log in. So basically, if you wanted to have like in the meeting notes, there's like, you know, like offers and requests, like what people need help with. So this is basically like a wall of like an opportunity board on ways to get involved with social impact projects. And so it'll be like, you know, someone's hiring, looking for project help. There's a free educational incubator on systems change, free course on social network analysis. So these are all either like offers or requests. And then you could, if you find one you like, you can favorite it, you can email it to a friend, you can copy the link. And so basically this board, like sometimes these opportunities are linked to a person, sometimes they're linked to a project, sometimes they're linked to groups. And you can also filter by like, you know, the opportunity type, the skills, and basically it's a way to manage different types of directories for a group and across groups. So projects, resources, events, organizations. We have a list of like, and all this information is available. There's about 500 like social impact organizations. So obviously in doing this work, I came across Zeitgeist Movement and have been involved. But yeah, this is kind of the main project I've been working on for the last few years. Is really just like aggregating information and making it easier for groups to instead of like duplicating effort of collecting resources and sharing opportunities and events and projects, kind of have a place to be able to federate the information and help people find it when they need it.
Awesome.
That's fantastic. I have a couple questions. One is, have you the webpage that you shared with me that was a directory to all sorts of initiatives and projects? Are all those included in that?
So basically, any right now how it works is like if you go to the website, which I can post a link, and you go to like explore projects, it'll show you all the public ones. If you're like not logged in or anything, there's some people that have projects that are either like private or they're in a draft mode or they're only shared with certain groups, like kind of like an internal project, and that really wouldn't be relevant for anyone else. And so if you log in and then you say, okay, I'm in these 5 groups, you could like join groups, then the project list might go from 50 to like 100. So yes, when you're not logged in, you basically could see all the public information. But for example, like the calendar that's with all the global like public events is a lot less than all the events. So each basically thing that you create, you can say this is public, this is private, or this is restricted, and I want to share it with like these 6 or 7 groups.
Okay, that's great. So I don't know if you remember when we talked last time that we've been working on a directory as well that's focused specifically on demarketizing, and so I'm working on a book now to describe that well. I'm calling them free collaboration networks, and I was wondering if maybe we could talk afterwards or another day, and maybe it could be a category that you could add to that directory. I can basically they're organizations or networks or tools that offer service or products for free to anybody. They're not only charity. It's not only to the poor or to the needy, and for free. And the other thing I want to ask you is if there's some way we can help you. If there's something that we could do to help you with this project.
Thank you. Yeah, I'd love to chat more and about kind of what I've been thinking about in terms of like there are sites that are directory sites, and sometimes I'm like, wow, okay, this directory is so comprehensive. I'm just gonna link to this directory site, and so then I ended up like I'm a person who like creates lists, so I ended up then having like lists of lists and then lists of lists of lists. And so, yeah, if there's like other directories, either being able to like link to those or be able to see if it like intersects with the data schema. And then like one of the things I've been doing is like, taking project lists from multiple different groups and then kind of bringing them together. And then sometimes people have their projects in other tools or software like the Brain or Airtable. And so then you could add like a backlink. So if there's like, free resource listings and you wanted to like add them onto the directory and then have a backlink to say like, find more information here. Like that's like, one of the things that is possible. And yeah, in terms of help needed is really looking for anyone who would want to take like 20-30 minutes and give feedback on the UI and just kind of help us alpha test it. We've been launching the like opportunities board, for example. Like that was something we just finished this week. And so we'd love if anyone, would want to schedule a call to just have a fresh set of eyes on it. And yeah, and then if anyone thinks this would be helpful for the broader TZM movement, to like set up a group and to use it to manage projects, then that would also be a big help. Just starting to like weave together the different groups like the Zeitgeist movement and the other groups that are already on the platform would be really, really cool.
Yeah, I'll message you later about it. Really cool.
So do we contact you through here, Discord? Like, because we'll add this to the call for help or call to action, and so people that are interested in helping out, should they contact you here?
I will put a link in the chat to my profile, and that has like has all my contact information and my calendar and all that stuff. Yeah, thanks everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you, man. I thought it was
Yeah, I think
really
that
awesome.
project is.
Yeah,
Uh,
I thought it looked really neat and so organized.
certainly
It's
absolutely
really well
needed.
done. I gotta tell you, man. Well done. Good work.
Yeah,
It's
thanks
funny.
as well.
Yeah, it's really cool because one of the things I was going to mention before you spoke is that actually TZM Ukraine is working on a similar project, very similar to this network you are developing, Trove. And the thing is that it's basically only being designed right now with the intention of project managing just for TZM Ukraine's sake with their other projects and stuff, and having it in Ukrainian language because they just don't want to read stuff in English all the time. But then the idea was is that if they were satisfied with what they came up with, that they would then share a international variant with the rest of the movement, so that we could also use it. I mean, which is so pretty cool to have our own like little TZM project managing program. But this is really sick because I really like the idea of also being able to reach out to like other like-minded groups or movements or whatnot, and being able to spread abroad the different things we're working on. This is pretty nice.
Yeah, one of the things that I've found from working in a lot of different groups is like after you've been meeting for a certain amount of time, it's like uh, the software engineers group, they all need design and marketing help, and the the designers all have ideas, but they can't like execute on anything technical. And then like the business students group, they have all these ideas for competitions and they don't have people that can build it. And so it's really like the intersections between the different groups where people aren't hanging out together all the time. It's like, if you hang out with somebody, like I recognize a lot of the faces here. So like if you're like asking for help every week to the same 10 people and you haven't gotten help, it's probably because you're asking people that can't help or have already helped you. And so being able to share projects and opportunities kind of with that like one degree of connection away, like we still want to share it with, we don't want to just like put it on Craigslist, that's not like the place, but like sharing it kind of within the networks of the network around each organization and group, I think is like a really good way to start to catalyze action and help to matchmake and help connect people to kind of start to take these ideas and make them more mainstream.
Yep, you said it yourself. What the issues and what's some good ideas to resolve that is. I mean, well done.
Hey, Clifford,
But
perhaps those members, Ukrainian members, would like to give feedback to Vicenzo's work. If you could link them together.
yeah, I mean, the thing is that most of them don't really speak English. It's a language barrier thing. So I mean, there may be just maybe myself and Olexi that can maybe really give some thorough feedback on it. But I mean, otherwise, yeah.
All right.
Yeah, as far as proper project management, I have been doing some research on project management solutions for a charity that I'm involved in. And one of the ones that I think would be particularly beneficial for TZM is called Basecamp. But the only problem is it has a limitation of 20 users for a free account, and then the pricing is at $99 a month. But then you can have unlimited users, so it can be used to manage massive projects, huge numbers of people, different teams, and also has hosting as well, so you can host project files and documents and stuff like that. But like I said, like that, the cost of it is the biggest barrier, really. But I think if TZM was to use something like Basecamp, which I'll post a link to, that would be really beneficial for us, I think.
It's definitely it's much more professional, and it's, yeah, as you mentioned, like, it has the utensils and the tools that would basically be able to help keep the yeah, I mean, it's just basically like all the different layers of projects and whatever notes and just good communication. It'd be really nice to have, and be quite useful, I think, for some people perhaps to have that. I mean, back in the day, Trello, which over like 6, 7 years ago or whatever, 8 years ago, perhaps even more. But Trello it isn't really, it's very basic, and it actually, I think, makes things more of a mess in the end than it actually does help. I mean, that's just my experience and my opinion over Trello. But there are some really good project managers out there for sure that can ease a lot of the confusion with some active stuff going on and a environment for a project.
Just
Yeah,
keep
I
in
think
mind that these, just like the forums, you're gonna need someone to really manage it when you're talking to, Basecamp or Jira level software. It's not something you can usually just walk into without any experience. It takes quite a bit of a learning curve.
Yeah, I think the difference is though that the forum is not just a project managing space. I mean, it literally becomes a community space of many different interactions. I mean, just like this Discord server, it's a big job. I feel like I mean, there's definitely, as you said, I mean, using a tool like a project managing software definitely does need some kind of a walkthrough and like some getting used to or whatnot. But I feel like depending on especially what projects people are participating and involved in, it becomes in itself in that regard kind of self it's self-sufficient, or it's able to really take care of itself more in the end than a forum is. I mean, I think a forum, there's so much so many things to watch out for, so many like different aspects of communication or inputs going on, and it just gets mind-boggling, as it can even get here on Discord or on a Facebook group or whatever.
Yeah, that kind of brings me to the point I wanted to make, which is that often what's more important than a tool is a methodology. And so I'm going to try to create a pad for now for my projects that I'm running. And that pad will describe the methodology that each project uses, the tools that it's using. So anyone that wants to join the project can check that pad out and then see what tools we're using. What file sharing system or what discussion tool we're using, and know the methodology. But do we know how much? Woody, did you see how much the Basecamp costs?
Yeah, it's $99 a month, which is a lot of money. However, many project management solutions out there, they charge per user. So maybe it's like $5 or $10 per user. And once you start getting over 10 users, it starts becoming $100, $200, $300 a month. Basecamp, they have a flat price. No matter how big your organization is, you can have unlimited people, and it doesn't impact the cost. So obviously, if your team's very, very small, then it's quite expensive. But if your team's very, very big, then it becomes quite affordable. They do have the free account. Like I said, the free account allows you to have 20 users, which perhaps is good for small teams. But the good thing about Basecamp, for example, and this isn't the only option, there are other ones, but the good thing about Basecamp is that it allows you to subdivide into teams. So you could have, say, the web development team, the podcast team, the coordinators team or whatever it might be. And people can be put into these individual teams, and each team will have its own set of documents, files, to-dos, chat, and it's all like centrally managed, so that the people administrating the platform can see overall how projects are going and how the teams are doing. And you can do things like automatic check-ins with different teams, and the team can respond and say, oh, we've done this week or that week or whatever. And it's a really good way of keeping track of what's happening, what's going on, and keeping people in the loop. It's something that I'm in the process of getting it embraced in a charity that I'm involved in, because one of the difficulties that the charity that I'm working with faces, and TZM, is that we don't have an office. We don't all sit in an office face to face, and I can't just shout across the room, oh, Cliff, could you do this? Or, oh, Mark, here's a thing, could you get that done, please? And so Basecamp kind of operates like a remote office, so that we're all in this one central hub getting things done. Now, things like Discord and the forum and stuff like that can do aspects of what Basecamp can do, but Basecamp is very much an integrated solution, primarily focused on getting things done, rather than chats and things like that, although it does have a chat function.
And I don't need a office to roar across over to you.
It was a poor example, but you get my point.
Yeah, exactly.
So one of the things that I find that is a challenge is getting people to be present. And so the thing of the office is a good example, right? So that's one of the reasons why I'm constantly reminding people the importance of following the TZM COM method, because people need to touch in base regularly for there to be collective action. And so how does that have a system, like, or is it integrated, or you have to also just tell everyone that they have to check it once a day or something like that?
No, you don't really need to tell people to check in, because the whole you can visualize and see. Like, for example, I'm looking at Basecamp right now, and I can click on the activity button, and straight away it's telling me all the activity, what's going on. I can see someone's assignments that they've been assigned. I can see overdue to-dos, someone's activity, to-dos added and completed, and upcoming dates. So we can see upcoming events, upcoming deadlines. And I forgot the other part of your point. What were you saying again?
Well, you still have to get people to check it, right?
Yeah, I mean, something
more than that, you have to get people to use it. That's the hard part.
Yeah, definitely, of course. I mean, at this point in time, I'm only looking for solutions as far as project management, but obviously that's a whole nother thing, getting people engaged with it.
Because that's the other part you have to also keep in mind. Is that, like, for example, I was just gonna say really quickly, Mark, is that you also have to keep in mind, Tom, is that when it comes down to project managing, at least the project managing software that I was engaged with are also quite sophisticated, like Basecamp is, but also I was in a professional office environment where people have some incentive of, they're being paid to do all this stuff. And in the Zeitgeist movement, it's just kind of like a weekend hobby type of a thing. And the thing is that you can have something like a really amazing, like, software Oberfläche, just like an appearance basically of your project and all this stuff and all this usability. But I think people gets overwhelmed, like, what do they use it for and all this. And again, just people are under so much strain from the monetary system with their other jobs or other responsibilities, that the last thing that they want to feel is more strain, especially if they pay more money into a thing to see projects that they're not even sure if they're involved in or they want to be involved in. You need to have really dedicated people out of the zeitgeist movement to get involved in something like Basecamp or something along those lines. That's, I think, also like, yeah, that Nathan brings a point that you need to really find people that are willing to use it. And that's something that we've had an issue with in the movement in the past as well. So, yeah.
Yeah, definitely. I completely agree with that. It's just because we were talking about projects, I thought I'd bring up kind of what I'm doing for this charity. But there are, for example, if you were to assign a task to somebody and they are not able to do it, they could say that they're not able to do it and the task could be reassigned. Or if the task hits some sort of soft deadline and the person hasn't done it, then that task could be left until somebody else comes along who's willing to do it, and then it can be assigned to them. So the idea is that things are not lost, they're still there, and if people drop out, then all the information, the data, the documents is still there, ready for the next person to come along and pick up where they left off.
Love it.
Yeah, no, it's an invaluable tool, especially as a project manager myself. I'm right on the with you there. I would just say, yeah, the big thing I think is getting people to use it, and I think the second thing would be having a clear goal of what you're trying to accomplish, a clear mission. And I'm kind of new here, so I can't really say if you have one or not. But yeah,
we've had several of them in the past, and mostly like people use Trello, and then some others. And then, like I said, is that the Ukrainians from the Zeitgeist movement are developing their own project managing software and stuff. But now, yeah, then we had Vincenzo basically show Trove to us. I mean, which is less project managing and more just like project listing, but still that is quite nice. Yeah, I mean, many different things, but it'd be nice to. I mean, and the other thing is that the movement's autonomous and it's basically a very open source format. So like, if we decided today here in this Discord meeting, okay, we're gonna use Basecamp to organize our projects or whatever, that doesn't mean that the rest of the movement is obligated to start using it all of a sudden. So it's like it's basically then people within a movement with whatever they're working on have to use the right tools that works for them in their own atmosphere and their own stuff, more or less. And yeah, I mean, then it becomes a cultural and a linguistic thing at that point of how much you can or want to interact with the other people's projects and stuff. Oh yeah, Mark.
Thanks, Woody, for sharing that with us, and I'm gonna look forward to your updates on how it goes with the charity. We like to keep these meetings around an hour and a half, and we've pretty much done all the things that we've gone through all the steps, asking for people if they need help with something, if they want to do a group call to action. So I was wondering if you guys want to move on for a few minutes now, just to talk, to give some more personal space, so that we can present each other. I don't know if that's coming out right. Because I was wondering if Nathan wants to tell us a bit about himself, because it's great to have someone who's motivated in getting involved. I'll just say a little bit about who I am. I live in Catalonia. I go by Mark Enoch. I've been kind of organizing these global assemblies for, I don't know, 2.5 years now, I think. And I've been fully committed to the movement since I saw Addendum, and I've been getting more and more involved with the community over time. But I've always been very active within my life, in spreading the ideas and working different ways to try to manifest it into reality. And so now I have running their webpage at changingtheworldiseasy.com, which is kind of a summary of the method I found to work very well. And yeah, that's me.
Cool. Yeah, nice to meet you. I can take a moment to introduce myself. My name's Nathan Buckley, I guess, obviously. I you know, a couple of people have asked me, like, how did I get into this movement? I have seen that the Zeitgeist movies. I guess there's like 3 of them. But for me, it really started even just as a kid. I kind of grew up in poverty. I was abandoned by my parents, but I was fortunate to be adopted into a sort of well-to-do family in a sort of middle class, upper middle class town. And so I had the luxury of growing up in the United States and being a white male. And I just kind of saw around me the challenges in the world, and especially after traveling. So I've always wanted to do what I can to make the world a better place, but I was sort of thinking that I would do that through my career. I thought the only way I could do it is through the existing system. Okay, I'll get a job, I'll do well in school. So I kind of like listened to my parents. I went down this road. I eventually got a job as a researcher at NASA, and I was like, wow, I'm doing research to help the world. And so I worked there for about 10 years, and it just kind of dawned on me, like, yeah, I'm making the airplanes safer, but people are still suffering. Like, there are people who don't even have the basic education or food or water. So I just decided to quit recently. I left NASA in February, and I decided to start my own project, and that's Infinite Love. So I decided to, make a YouTube channel and a podcast because, I see a lot of different projects like TZM and others out there, but I feel like a huge issue is outreach. We're not really reaching enough people. So I figured I can sort of help in that space by making a channel or 2. And so, yeah, I found my way here.
Thank you. It's great to have you with us. And it'd be great if you can share that the link to the channel.
Yeah, absolutely.
I fully agree that outreach is the first part of this transition.
Yeah. Definitely, like, some way. More recently, I've been trying to network with a bunch of groups. You guys were like number 2 or 3, but I spoke with Aravana and Trom folks to get a sense for what those guys are doing. And it does kind of sadden me a little bit that there's seems to be relatively little coordination between groups. Everybody's sort of going down their own path. And so I was really excited when I heard Vincenzo talk about his directory thing to sort of help people, see and get exposure to each other. I do wish there was some sort of way to, integrate communication and collaboration in the tool, but, that's definitely a great start for sure.
Yeah. One of the things that I've been working on very much is to because what I see is that the people that are active are they're spending a lot of time already, and it's one of the reasons why there isn't more coordination is simply because we just don't have enough capacity to connect with so many people, and manage that. So what I've been focusing on is getting, like, clarifying our objective and the method that we can follow to manifesting that. I don't know if you've seen the website, but I'll share it below. And I'm presently working on actually tomorrow I'm going to go sign the paperwork to start a nonprofit to be able to do it on a larger scale. which is the same things, but yeah, at a larger scale.
Yeah. Yeah, and the other thing is, and this is a problem in just general talking with people in the world on Twitter and social media, there's a huge world of ideas out there, and all we really have is communication to sort of figure out which of those ideas are, better to strive towards than others. And it's, it's really kind of I guess sad to see. It can be so difficult for people to, sort of agree or discard their own cherished ideas, even in the face of superior evidence. So, I'm trying to think of ways that we can best facilitate effective communication between people. That at the very least, it'll be one video I have on my channel to sort of help people in that regard.
I look forward to continuing conversing with you. I'm sure there's a lot I think we have in common.